What's up, YouTube? Luke, aka Drunk Trojan. Going to be doing my Super Bowl set update. I think that was my last video I did, but I've gotten to a point where it is ready to show again, and I don't think it will get shown off for a few years, maybe just updates if I continue to do videos. You can always follow it on Instagram and at Drunk Trojan, and same with Facebook if you are on any of the YouTube Facebook groups. But this is a point where I'm super happy and feel very accomplished, and I'll go through it, go through the stats as I go. So I guess to begin with, there is now 181 cards in the set. I have all 181 cards, and what makes this video special to me is they are now all slabbed by BGS. They unfortunately aren't all 9.5/10s yet, but I currently have 171 graded 9.5/10 or above, and when I mean above, there will be some 10s in here, and I'm okay with the 10s. I've yet to get a black label, so I don't know how I'll feel when I see a black label in the set, but as of right now, I only need to upgrade 10 cards. There's a couple in there that are really big ones and hard ones to find to upgrade, but my background is the mag case from Instagram. I had it commissioned to be the new home from my previous version that only held about 170 cards. This one holds I think 250 slabbed cards. I know there's plenty of room for it to grow into, so I am excited that Panini has said that they're going to continue the set, and I look forward to adding to the set, and hopefully I can outgrow this box one day. But I've got plenty of room to grow into, and it took me 4 years to get to this point, and I don't think they're going to do any mass releases within the next couple years. So without further ado, on to the set. You've probably seen most of these from my previous videos, but as good measure, I'm just going to show each one off, and if there's a little fun fact about them, I will go into a story. So this might be a long video. I'm not trying to rush through and just get it done. I'm just going to take my time, go through it, and enjoy the process. So for the only one for Super Bowl I, he has since passed away, but Jim Taylor, 9.5/10, and they played against the Kansas City Chiefs, and there is not anybody for the Kansas City Chiefs yet for Super Bowl I. And not every Super Bowl has the winner and loser as anybody in the set. There's a couple at the end that they've yet to put anybody in Super Bowl 50, 52, and 53 now. So hopefully they change that, but first one is Jim Taylor. Next one up, another one who has since passed, Forrest Gregg, 9.5/10. For Super Bowl II, and they played the Oakland Raiders, and they do have an Oakland Raider, and that is Daryl LaMonica, 9.5/10. Next one is the first AFC win in the Super Bowl, which I think they legitimized the AFL coming to the NFL merger, and having Joe Namath guarantee the win and delivering definitely made it a legitimate Super Bowl win for the Jets. And I believe they played the Baltimore Colts, and that was started by Johnny Unitas. Johnny Unitas did end up playing in another Super Bowl, but was not the starting quarterback. We'll get to that one here in a couple. Having read up on some of these Super Bowls, like Super Bowl III, Don Maynard was a key part for the Jets as a decoy, but I guess in the AFC Championship game, he injured himself and was actually very limited, but they didn't let on that he was injured. and they double covered him, to which the opposite receiver, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but that's the one who ended up scoring the only touchdown, I believe, in the game, was the other receiver and had all the yardage, where Don, I don't think, had a single catch in Super Bowl III. He might have had one catch. Next up, for Super Bowl IV, another win for the AFC, was the Kansas City Chiefs, and they played the Minnesota Vikings. I'm doing this off the top of my head. There will be a Minnesota Vikings, but I'm trying to remember who each team played in the Super Bowl. If I'm going to collect it, I'd like to know something about everything that I'm collecting. So sorry about the glare if it flashes you, but I'm trying to show off each auto. So Len Dawson. And then the first place kicker in the, I think he's the only place kicker in, the only like positional kicker in the Hall of Fame. There's a punter in the Hall of Fame also, but Jan Stenerud was the first and only place kicker in the, nope, Morton Anderson now is in the Hall of Fame, so there are two. So they played against the Minnesota Vikings. And this is Carl Eller. And then this is where the Baltimore Colts did end up winning the Super Bowl against the Dallas Cowboys. And this is the one, I believe, was started by Roman Gabriel for the Baltimore Colts, and then he wasn't doing so great. And then Unitas came in and I think won it. Something, I know that Unitas came in and ended up getting his Super Bowl win, but that was in Super Bowl V against the Dallas Cowboys. And here's Bob Lilly. And then for Super Bowl VI, the first Super Bowl win for the Dallas Cowboys, Roger Staubach, 9-5-10. Another Bob Lilly, Super Bowl VI. And then the coach, but was a tight end for the Dallas Cowboys for their Super Bowl win, Mike Ditka. And then this guy, it took me a couple tries, but I did get a 9-5-10. I feel bad with his signature, how old he is. I think he's, I want to say in his 80s, but you can tell that he's had a rough time signing, and I feel bad that they have him sign. I'm happy to have him in the set, but I just feel bad that at his age, they're making him sign. And there are some better versions of his signature in the set, but I think they had him sign a bunch, and you can definitely see the change throughout the signatures as he signed more and more. But Rayfield Wright. Another Dallas Cowboy. It says another guy. He's in the set is in the set twice for the Cowboys, but Cliff Harris. 9-5-10. Then they played against the Miami Dolphins, and Miami Dolphins lost their first Super Bowl. But this is Paul Warfield. But they came back the next year, and for Super Bowl VII, I believe this was the undefeated season. But Bob Greasy, he is, I've had others where it was a 9-5-9, but his end of his signature, because it's so big, it's run off the side of the card. And there is a hair in the slab. Joy. Well, maybe if I get to Nationals, I can have them recase it. But yeah, there's definitely a hair inside that slab. Another Paul Warfield. I think he has 3 in this set. But for Super Bowl VII, Paul Warfield, 9-5-10. Jim Kick with 2 eyes in Kick. And who did they play in Super Bowl VII to win? Ooh. I don't remember Super Bowl 7. I'll have to look that up. And then Super Bowl 8, the back-to-back second back-to-back Super Bowl winners, but the Miami Dolphins again, but with Larry Zonka, and they played against the Minnesota Vikings. All right, and the third, Paul Warfield, 9/5/10. And here is one that will eventually get upgraded, but I had an 8/5/10 that I know I'm not going to be able to get to 9/5, but here's a 9/5/9. It's a good condition card, but Fran Tarkington, in his crossing his T, definitely has some deep streaks, so that's what got the 9 auto. So here's one of the 10 that need to be upgraded, and I think I've only seen one for Super Bowl 9 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, this Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw has 4 for the 4 Super Bowls that they went to, and I'm pretty sure he's very short printed. And this one got all 9 5s except for corners, got an 8, and I think one of them actually was, yeah, this one down here is really bad. So to get it up to a 9 on the corners, I don't think is feasible. So I just need to look for a Super Bowl 9 Terry Bradshaw to upgrade that one. And Super Bowl 9 Joe Green, he's in it I think 3 or 4 times, but Joe Green for Super Bowl 9. Sorry, trying to keep my stacks in even 20s. There's 2 stacks that have more than 20 in it, the last stack and the next stack coming up. It's one of the times that I think there's 2 variations in the set, but that's because I'm crazy about the set and know way too much about it. But Super Bowl 9, Franco Harris. Another Super Bowl 9, Jack Ham. And here the second appearance of Terry Bradshaw, Super Bowl 10, Terry Bradshaw. And this is the card that actually started the set. That first appeared in 2015 certified, and they were actually numbered in certified. So this one, if you can see, is numbered 14 of 25. So there are some pretty short printed ones, but most of the time they don't number the cards. And this one was the first one I picked up for the set, and I graded it on a whim, and that's what started this grading madness. Thank you, Joe Green. So Super Bowl 10 Joe Green. Then we got Super Bowl 10 Jack Lambert. This one is very short printed. I think I've only seen 3 of them. But Jack Lambert, 9/5/10. And then Super Bowl 11, the Oakland Raiders. Quarterback was Fred Biletnikoff. Oh no, he's a linebacker. No. Ken Stabler was a quarterback and he was a receiver. God, I need to do more research on these. Ted Hendricks, he was also with the Baltimore Colts and then played with the Oakland Raiders, and I think he's in this set 4 times, which ties Montana, Joe Green, and Terry Bradshaw as the most in the set. But Ted Hendricks. And then Art Shell, Super Bowl 11. And then here's the punter, Ray Guy, 9/5/10 Hall of Famer. And then Super Bowl 11 opponent, the Minnesota Vikings. This Fran Tarkenton has a little bit of streaks, but not as bad as the other, so that's why this got a 10 for the autograph. Super Bowl 12. This was against the Denver Broncos. There's not a Denver Bronco yet in the set. I would like to just have them make an appearance, but I understand why not having the losers are like a must for anybody. But just to be represented would be nice. But Super Bowl 12, Roger Staubach. He was 6 years between Super Bowl wins. I think Brady has the longest in between Super Bowl wins. So Tony Dorsett for Super Bowl 12. And then Randy White for the Dallas Cowboys, Super Bowl 12. And Drew Pearson, Super Bowl 12. Second appearance for Cliff Harris, Super Bowl 12. Super Bowl 13, the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Dallas Cowboys. So Terry Bradshaw, 9-5-10. And then Joe Green again for Super Bowl 13, 9-5-10. Jack Ham again, 9-5-10. And actually another Randy White, but this time on the losing team, but for the Dallas Cowboys, 9-5-10. And Super Bowl 14, Terry Bradshaw. And then this is the one variation so far that I've been able to actually acquire. So I have two 9.5s. One has a 10 autograph and the other has a 9. I don't know if it's because they try and grade 2 autographs. I think this one looks good. I can see a little bit of in the T, that is after the S, some speckling, and maybe some over here over the O in John, but I think it's a 10 autograph. But I've got two 9.5s, one's a 10 and one's a 9, and as you saw, this one, I'm going to keep both of them in the set because this one's actually signed on the back. For what he must not have known which was the front and back until somebody told him. So I've seen more actually signed on the back than those that he has not signed on the back. So that's a pretty cool variation that I'll keep those two in the set. And then their opponent were the Los Angeles Rams with Jack Youngblood. And Super Bowl 15, Jim Plunkett, 9-5-10. They played against the Philadelphia Eagles. Another Ted Hendricks, 9-5-10. Another Ray Guy, 9-5-10. Cliff Branch, 9-5-10. And then Ron Jaworski for the Philadelphia Eagles, 9-5-10. And then the first appearance for Joe Montana, Super Bowl 16. Super Bowl 16, their opponents were... Damn. I was so good at this when I don't have the camera on me. And Dwight Clark. I believe this was when in the NFC Championship game they did what's called the play, where he threw it in the back of the end zone to Dwight Clark. Another one who's actually passed away in the set, Dwight Clark. And then for Super Bowl 17, Joe Theismann. Super Bowl 17, John Riggins. Super Bowl 18 for this was the Los Angeles Rams, Marcus Allen, Howie Long, and then the final Ted Hendricks. and another Jim Plunkett, and another Ray Guy. Alright, next stack. For Super Bowl 19, he played against the Miami Dolphins, and this is Dan Marino's only Super Bowl appearance, was his rookie year. So, Joe Montana, Super Bowl 19. Roger Craig, Super Bowl 19, 9-5-10. Ronnie Lott, 9-5-10. And then, as I said, Dan Marino's only Super Bowl appearance, 9-5-10. And then this is one of the few coach signatures. I think there's 4 in the set. But Coach Mike Ditka, Super Bowl 20. And they played against the New England Patriots. First appearance for the Patriots, I believe. Led by quarterback Jim McMahon. It's hard to see, but he does have, it looks like he has a giant chin strap, but that's actually his bandana, his Adidas bandana. And he has a ginormous face mask for a quarterback. But I think that's probably because he got so many dang concussions. But Jim McMahon. Then Mike Singletary. Dan Hampton. I think Super Bowl 20 has the most with the 2 teams combined that are represented in this set. Gary Fennick, Super Bowl 20. And then John Hanna for the New England Patriots, a Hall of Famer. Another one that's numbered, but this one is number 72 of 500. So John Hanna signed a bunch. Same with Steve Grogan. He signed out of 500. 448 out of 500. On to Super Bowl 21. This would be the second appearance for the Denver Broncos and their second loss in the Super Bowl to the New York Giants, led by, I think this was a MVP game for Lawrence Taylor. And their head coach, Bill Parcells. And this one is numbered 22 of 24. Oh, I know Super Bowl 21 is represented. Oh, he's out of order. So, another one for Super Bowl 21, Pepper Johnson. And Mark Bavaro. And I've actually seen some that have, because this says 44 out of 73, but I'm pretty sure I've seen Mark Bavaro not have a numbered version. So I think those are the 2, him and John Stallworth, those are the only variations I've been able to come up with that are not common throughout the set. And another one for Super Bowl 21, Carl Banks. Now the opponent, Vance Johnson. Only Bronco represented on the losing team so far. So, but it's cool to have Vance in the set. Super Bowl 22, another back-to-back appearance by the Denver Broncos and another loss. So, doesn't make me happy, but it's part of history. But led by Doug Williams, I think he got the MVP of this Super Bowl. And you got Hall of Famer Darrell Green. And Ricky Sanders. Next up is Super Bowl 23. Another one for Joe Montana. They played the Cincinnati Bengals. And his receiver was Jerry Rice. And this is actually the only appearance for Jerry Rice in this set. I wish they continue to add him for all the Super Bowls he went to. And then Charles Haley. He's one of the few that are going to make an appearance. I think there's 3 players that have 2 different teams that they played for, and they're in the set. So Charles Haley, and he always in his C likes to put a smiley face. Sometimes it's a easy to identify smiley face. Sometimes it looks wonky, but Charles Haley, and then Bill Romanowski. And their opponent, like I said, was the Cincinnati Bengals. So here's Ickey Woods, and then the receiver, Chris Collinsworth, probably better known for his announcing. And then Super Bowl 24, another appearance by the Denver Broncos. Or they showed up to the game. They didn't play in the game by the score. I think that's the largest margin of victory against an opponent was Super Bowl 24 against the Denver Broncos. Roger Craig and Tom Rathman. On to Super Bowl 25. And then this one was the New York Giants against the Buffalo Bills. And the Bills, remember this one, probably the worst. And they lost by a missed field goal that went wide right. But Bill Parcells, then this Bill Parcells is not numbered like the other one. So, can I assume he's probably short printed to like 25 also. Or 24. And then 25, Super Bowl 25, Otis Anderson. And their opponent, the Buffalo Bills. And they went to 4 consecutive Super Bowls and lost, I think. Was it 4? I think they might have, yeah, I think it was 4 consecutive Super Bowls. Another one that needs an upgrade in auto, but Bruce Smith consistently goes off card when he crosses his T and Smith. But 959 Bruce Smith. 9510 Thurman Thomas. And then Super Bowl 26 Charles Mann. That's I think the first pristine 10 that I have coming in the set. There's a few. I think there's 5 total BGS 10s. Next up is Gary Clark. There we go. Mark Schlereth, 9510. This is a new one. I think he came out of Plates and Patches, I believe. This is one of the few new ones that have recently come out this year. Here's for Super Bowl 27, Dallas Cowboys against, I know this one was against the Buffalo Bills. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 4 consecutive against the Buffalo Bills. 4 consecutive losses for the Buffalo Bills. So 9-5-10, Michael Irving. And then Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman. Here is the second appearance for Charles Haley in the set and my second pristine 10. And as you can see, it doesn't really look like a smiley face in that one, but I'll take the 10-10. And then their coach, Jimmy Johnson, 9-5-10. And then their opponent, Andre Reed. And he signed 151. This is 87 of 150. And then Super Bowl 28, Dallas Cowboys, Troy Aikman, another appearance for Emmitt Smith. And then this is another new one, and I like that he inscribes Moose and Daryl Moose Johnston. And there's a couple that for this Cowboys team I need to upgrade. Bill Bates, this is a 9-10. And then another one, Jay Novacek, 910 for Super Bowl 28. On to Super Bowl 29. I think this was against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think. Pretty sure. Pittsburgh Steelers. No, I think this might have been against the San Diego Chargers. Super Bowl 29. Steve Young. Third pristine 10. Deion Sanders with a 10 auto, which is very difficult to do with Deion, but I've been able to get a few 10 autographs that have gotten 10s. So I am always, when I'm doing sets and I see Deion, I have to make sure that the autograph is going to get a 10, because he can streak up an autograph with the best of them. Next up is Ricky Watters. Does a cool star in the middle of his signature and inscribes 32. Really dig his signature. Yes, this Super Bowl 30, this was against Pittsburgh Steelers. So, Troy Aikman, 9-5-10. Like I said, Deion can streak up the best of them, but it went really thin here, but it didn't streak. And same with the bottom here. But Deion Sanders, 9-5-10. I'll admit some of my autos I've gotten lucky with the grades I get, but I'm very happy with the grades that they are slabbed. Larry Allen, he's one that I've seen run off the card a lot when he finishes the end of his signature, but 9-5-10, and I believe he is the no, is it Larry Allen? No, Larry Brown. Larry, he's a Hall of Fame, is Larry Allen, offensive lineman. And then Darren Woodson for the Dallas Cowboys. And then Larry Brown is the, I believe, this Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl 30. Let's see, Super Bowl. Yes, he had 2 interceptions and was named the game's MVP. So, Larry Brown for the Dallas Cowboys. And their opponent, Pittsburgh Steelers, Dermontti Dawson. And then on to Super Bowl 31 for the Green Bay Packers, Brett Favre. And I know this one is very short printed. This came out in 2015 Spectra, according to this label, but I know I hardly saw any of these come out. I think I've seen 3 or 4 of them. And then Mark Chmura, and that one's numbered 191 out of 291. Interesting numbering. And this one, what's up, AR Falk, big Andre Rison collector. But this is about my 3rd one, where he's also, when he finishes that R in Rison, there tends to be a really big streak across the top. And this one, it got a little bit, but it was good enough to get a 10 auto. So super happy to add to Andre Rison, 9-5-10. Next stack, on to Super Bowl 32 against the Green Bay Packers. And this was the Denver Broncos' first Super Bowl win, and I remember this Super Bowl like it was yesterday. But for the Denver Broncos, John Elway. And then Shannon Sharpe. I believe they got the wrong Super Bowl jersey for him, because I think most of these pictures, when you see the more recent stuff, they put the Super Bowl patch on the jerseys, so you can kind of, if you can get a glimpse of the chest, you can kind of see which Super Bowl they belong to. And you can see that they wore blue. The Broncos wore blue in Super Bowl 32, and in Super Bowl 33, the Broncos wore white. So pretty sure they got the wrong photos for the Broncos, or for Shannon Sharpe. And then their opponent, the Green Bay Packers, Robert Brooks. And I believe this one's number 35 of 400, but Robert Brooks was on Super Bowl 31 but was injured, and that's why Andre Rison was picked up at the end of near the end of the season, or at the trade deadline, for the Packers to make their Super Bowl push. I believe that's how that goes. And then my, what is this, fourth pristine 10, and this one I couldn't be happier about. Super Bowl 33. This was against the Atlanta Falcons, and this was John Elway's Super Bowl MVP. This is the one that he got the MVP for. Super Bowl 32 was Terrell Davis. But right here is a pristine 10, John Elway. Super Bowl 33, Terrell Davis. And then Super Bowl 33, Rod Woodson. Oh, one more Bronco. Super Bowl 33, Ed McCaffrey. And Super Bowl 34, I think this was, no, this wasn't their first year in St. Louis, but for the St. Louis Rams, Kurt Warner, 9-5-10, the greatest show on turf, with Isaac Bruce. They got Marshall Faulk and Kurt Warner to sign on their Super Bowl losing team against the Patriots. So this one, I wish they would have got Marshall Faulk for Super Bowl 34, but they got Isaac Bruce and Kurt Warner to represent that victory. And then for Super Bowl 35, and this was against the Giants, and this is Rod Woodson. He didn't win one with the Steelers, but he did win one with the Baltimore Ravens. And then Jonathan Ogden, Hall of Famer. And their quarterback, Trent Dilfer, against their opponent, the New York Giants, Michael Strahan. For whatever reason, they got Michael Strahan to sign this one and not like Super Bowl 42, I think it is. Yeah, Super Bowl 42. And then this kicker started it all for Tom Brady, Adam Vinatieri, and this is number 27 out of 100. But this will be the Patriots' first victory and Tom Brady's first Super Bowl win. Tom Brady, they don't have Tom Brady version of this one yet, Super Bowl 36. So I know that's one that they will eventually release. But Troy Brown, and I think my fifth and final pristine 10, Joe Druzy for the New England Patriots. And then Ted Johnson. Like I said, they had the St. Louis Rams signed. I mean, it's cool to have the Kurt Warner because they also have him in the victory, but they should have had Marshall Faulk in that Super Bowl 34. On to Super Bowl 37. The Buccaneers against the Oakland Raiders. That's when John Gruden took over the Buccaneers against his Oakland Raiders, and the Oakland Raiders didn't change a goddamn thing and lost embarrassingly to the Buccaneers. I mean, they had a great defense and there was great Hall of Fame players, but the way they showed up and didn't change their playbook for the Oakland Raiders is embarrassing. Warren Sapp. And then Mike Allstott. And then you've got Tim Brown. On to Super Bowl 38. The first appearance of Tom Brady in this set. Another victory, and this was against the Carolina Panthers. But Tom Brady, 9-5-10. And the Panthers, Steve Smith. Those are only 2 for that Super Bowl. Kind of underwhelming on that one. And then the Patriots went back-to-back. They don't have a Super Bowl 39 for Tom Brady for this one either, so those are 2 that they need to make up. And I think for Super Bowl 53 over there on the corner, since they don't have any for that set, they'll have to make one for that Super Bowl. But Deion Branch, I think this was the MVP performance for Deion Branch. He got the MVP for this game. Yeah. And against the Philadelphia Eagles. And Brian Westbrook. This is actually my first Brian Westbrook autograph. So happy to have that part of the set in my collection. And let's see. These are definitely out of order. Bear with me. Oh boy, oh boy. Sorry. Should have did a dry run of this. There we go. Alright, sorry about that. For Super Bowl 40, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger. Super Bowl 40, Jerome Bettis, one of my favorite signatures in the game. Hines Ward. And then for Super Bowl 41, Peyton Manning, 9-5-10. And his receiver, Reggie Wayne, 9-5-10. They played against the Chicago Bears defense. They didn't really have much of an offense with Rex Grossman as their quarterback, but their defense was incredible with Brian Urlacher. And then a return specialist, Devin Hester. So if any person gets in just for their return game, Devin Hester needs to be that guy. Make it into the Hall of Fame just on his returns alone. Then Brady's first Super Bowl loss was against this special young boy, Eli Manning, Super Bowl 42. That's the only card for Super Bowl 42. Let's see, Super Bowl 43, the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Arizona Cardinals. Ben Roethlisberger, James Harrison, and Brett Kessel. He has this one you can't see it, but it'd be awesome to get one that has his crazy ass beard when he'd grow it out. Like I said, their opponent, the Arizona Cardinals, and got Edgerrin James. Super Bowl 44, Drew Brees, another one that needs a 10 auto. It's kind of streaky in his D part of his autograph. And Marquise Colson. On to Super Bowl 45. Another win by the Packers, Aaron Rodgers. And you can kind of see that there's a streak in the end of his R, but I'll take the 9-5-10. Got Jordy Nelson, 9-5-10. And this guy, I cannot get a dang 10 auto, or get a 9-5-10. I can get 9s with 10 autos, or a 9-5 with a 9 auto. And it's a 9 auto because he goes off the end of the card in this black part of the card, but it does go off card. But a 959 for Donald Driver. And Greg Jennings, 9510. And then Super Bowl 46, the second loss for Tom Brady against this young boy, Eli Manning. And Victor Cruz. And they have Danny Woodhead representing the Patriots in Super Bowl 46, 9510. All right, Super Bowl 47. The Baltimore Ravens against the San Francisco 49ers. And this would be the 49ers' first Super Bowl loss is against this now Denver Broncos quarterback, Joe Flacco. Hopefully he can do something for the Broncos. And you got Torrey Smith for the Baltimore Ravens. And Anquan Bolden. Against the kneeler, Colin Kaepernick. And I can't believe this guy still plays running back and still gets yards, Frank Gore. And Super Bowl 48, the Seattle Seahawks versus the Denver Broncos. So Russell Wilson, 9510. Marshawn Lynch, Beast Mode, 9510. And this one just recently got upgraded from an 8.5 up to now I've got a 9.10. These ones are very difficult to get good grades because of the set that they were inserted in. Panini Lux, every box or pack, however they were packaged, these were right next to framed cards, and because they're such thin stock, they get a small border crease, like edge crease, because of the framed cards kind of mess up their edges or in their corners. So one day I'll find a 9.510 Richard Sherman. And Golden Tate, Super Bowl 48. And then the Seahawks went to another Super Bowl, but they ended up losing to this man, or the horrible play call from the coach of the Seahawks. But this Tom Brady is the second appearance of Tom Brady in the set, and this was inserted in 2017, I think, 16 or 17, NT and Flawless. So they got stamped, and it's an interesting stamp, and now that I'm holding it at the angle that I am, it kind of looks like there was only supposed to be 9 of these, but it is stamped 8 of 10, but it definitely looks like there's a 9 underneath that hollow foil. And I've never seen that because I haven't held it in the light like this. And that is crazy. But 8 of 10 for Tom Brady, Super Bowl 49. And then let's do this one. Darrelle Revis, he got a Super Bowl with the Patriots and then went back to the Jets, I believe. So he freelanced and got himself a Super Bowl ring with the Patriots. And the tight end, Rob Gronkowski. And this guy, he just signs in streaks. And for whatever reason, this one must have been one of his first ones because it is clear, bold, and streak-free. So a beautiful 9.510 Rob Gronkowski. Like I said, there is no Super Bowl 50 represented, but they did put in a Super Bowl 51, another Tom Brady. So that's 3 Tom Bradys in the set, and they can have probably up to 3 more that I'm gonna have to pick up, and hopefully he stops winning these damn Super Bowls so I stop having to pay so much for a person I can't stand. But I got a 9, 10, and I'm happy with that, because trying to buy another one of these is crazy expensive and stupid. But that is my set of 181 cards. If you made it this long, I commend you. Hopefully I didn't put you to sleep. I know my voice can be a bit monotone, but this set has been such a pleasure to pick up and show off and share with everybody. And those that follow it, thank you. All the positive feedback I get on it, and all the people that have helped me find stuff. Bearcat 8, Joey, this film that got rated, Michael, multiple people, like All-Star Jersey Shop. Manny has helped me, or has been very supportive and on the lookout. People at Nationals are always looking out and messaging me when they pick or when they find them, and I thank them for finding them. But usually I have them, but when it's one that I don't have, I pay very well for if it's the grade that I need or it's one that I can't find very often. So thank you all that have helped along this way and journey, and hopefully one day I'll get final word from Panini that they'll stop the set and I'll make one final video. But from here on, I'll just do updates to the set. Today is July 6th, 2019, so there won't be a complete set show off until whenever they decide to stop making the set. But I have been assured that they're going to continue the set, and I look forward to many more pickups and unfortunately grading, but it's now part of the collection. So thank you all, hope you enjoyed, and I hope to be making more content. I think my next one I want to do is a Von Miller show off, so I think that might be my next video. And my wife's away, so it might actually come pretty quickly because I get bored here at home. So thank you all, and bye.